Hey guys, Joe DeMarco from the Crazy New York Driver Show. Today is Tuesday, January 26th, 2021. Welcome to another Life Story episode. Today we're going to discuss the consequences of driving while impaired, and I'm going to tell you two life stories that actually happened to me that I witnessed firsthand with people under the influence driving the wrong way on the interstate and the aftermath. Before we get into that, I want to tell you two things. It's cloudy as usual and it's snowing. We cannot get a single sunny day in the Northeast. For the last 3 solid months I've made videos here at work. We have not yet had a single sunny day, and there are none expected. Second thing, let me know if the lighting is any better on this video, because right here I have two auxiliary lights hooked up that look just like, here, let me show you one. These bad boys, all right? These LED lights, okay? Let me know if they're doing any good or not. If they're doing good, that's fine. If they're not, well, that's fine too. But let's get right into my life story. I believe this is episode number 5. I would like to tell you guys two stories that happened to me while I was driving on various occasions. How many of you guys have been driving on the interstate or a major highway, usually at night, minding your own business, and here comes a car on the wrong side of the highway coming at you? Guys, that is the absolute worst, scary thing that can possibly happen. And these people that do this are almost always under the influence and refuse to get off and turn around. They just keep going and going in that fast lane until the worst possible thing happens. And that's what I want to discuss with you right now. The first story takes place in 1989. Oddly enough, both stories I'm going to tell you took place at around the same time of the day, same highway, and same direction, and I was driving my same car. As I said, the first story took place in 1989. I was driving westbound. I had just come off the George Washington Bridge, and I'm on westbound Route 80 heading to Paterson. It was a Friday night at approximately, I guess, 7:30 or 8 p.m. And I was driving my blue 77 Caddy, which some of you guys have seen in some of my pictures recently that I've been uploading in my location videos. That car had a CB in it. And I always drove with the CB on, with the squelch turned down really low, meaning I could only hear someone if they were quite close to me. That way I don't hear all the static. I've always had a CB in all my cars, with the exception of my current car, oddly enough. So anyway, I'm driving, approaching exit 62, which is the exit for the Garden State Parkway. In that area, Route 80 is 4 lanes each way. 4 lanes going west, 4 lanes going east. I'm going west in the second lane from the left. And traffic is, not really heavy. It's moderate to light. So there's quite a bit of room to maneuver. So I'm in the second lane from the left, and all of a sudden a voice comes over the CB. It was an older man's voice. I'm guessing someone in his 70s. And he said, "Anybody westbound on Route 80 near exit 62, stay out of the left lane. Stay out of the left lane." But that's all he said. Now, I'm in the second lane from the left. And I said to myself, I don't know what's ahead, but I'm getting over another lane because I don't want any part of it. This guy sounded like it was bad. Maybe someone's broken down. I don't know what's ahead of me, but something bad's coming up. I'm about to go over the crest of a hill, and what do I see coming at me? A 1989 Honda Accord in the fast lane, charging along like nothing's wrong. coming right at me. Now, he's in the left lane. I'm in the second lane from the right. So I'm not going to get hit. He goes by me. I immediately pulled over to the right shoulder, put the car in park, opened the door, turned my head back, and that quick, the worst possible thing happened. Bammo! Head on with a guy that was behind me in a Chevy. I put my car in reverse, backed up as quick as I could to try and help out. The effect of the accident propelled the Honda Accord to the driver's side fast lane shoulder. Route 80 has a wide shoulder there by the concrete barrier. So that's where that car wound up. The Chevy that was legally heading westbound wound up all the way across the highway on the right-hand shoulder. That was the force of the accident. Keep in mind now, if each guy's doing 60 miles an hour, that's a 120 mile an hour impact. All right? I back up, and the people in the Chevy were a group of teenagers, older teens, that, legal drivers, like maybe 18. A girl was driving, and she was so upset. She was cursing. I won't even say what she was saying, but I can totally empathize with this poor woman. Cursing the crap out of the Honda driver. I hope you die. I hope you... All kinds of crazy things. So I said to her, listen, is anybody hurt in this car, in the Chevy? She had a couple, I think 2 girls and 2 guys in the car. And they all seemed to be fine, thank God. All right? Traffic came to a dead stop, even though the highway was technically empty. There was 1 car on each far shoulder, but there were bumpers and other auto parts strewn all about. And there was a couple of people walking around in a daze. So I said, stay on to the side. Myself and another civilian ran over to the Honda Accord, to that driver. And he was beyond help at the time. He was, El Gano. So I said to the girl, listen, I said, I'm going to wait till the trooper comes up. When the trooper gets here, I'll tell him it wasn't your fault. I'll tell him what happened, and then I got to get going. So shortly, a state trooper pulled up. I let him talk to the girl first because he had a call for ambulances to be on the safe side for the girl that was driving and maybe one of her friends, I don't recall. And he could see that the other guy wasn't going anywhere. So I talked to the trooper, and he said to me, get into my car, into the troop car, get into the back seat. I need your papers for ID purposes, and I want a statement. Now keep in mind, he's already talked to the girl and the other teens. So I get in the car, I gave him my paperwork, and he says, oh, I'm so glad you were here and you witnessed it. I said, well, I said to him, I wanted you to know that the reason was not the girl's fault. That guy was driving the wrong way in the Honda. And the trooper stopped. He looked at me, he said, what? Nobody told me he was driving the wrong way. I said, well, you're listening to me. He was driving the wrong way. All right, trust me on that. So they started an investigation, of course. I couldn't stay around all night. I had to get going to where I was going. But they did thoroughly investigate this. The guy was legally drunk. The car was registered to a bank located near the accident scene. So the cops went to a gas station that was located near the on-ramp, and they asked the attendants that were working that night, did you see a Honda Accord illegally go up the off-ramp to get on? And they had not seen anything. So I don't think anything ever came of the investigation on that end, but I'm sure that the insurance company settled because the guy was legally driving drunk and he hurt people. That was a horrible thing he did, a very irresponsible act, and it was the last act he ever did on this earth. And that's one of the accidents, one of the 2 worst that I've ever seen happen head-on right while I was there. Now I'm going to tell you about the second one, but before I do, if you don't mind, let me just heat this coffee up a little bit. Nothing like a hot cup of coffee on a cold, cloudy, snowy day. The second incident was very similar to the first. I was driving westbound, getting off the George Washington Bridge and getting onto Route 80. Same situation. I'm in the area where Route 80 merges with the New Jersey Turnpike. If you're familiar with that area, there are local lanes and there are express lanes. I was in the local lanes. There are 3 local lanes starting from the right. Bang, bang, fast lane. Then there's a grassy median. Then there's 2 express lanes. Then a concrete divider. And then you have your eastbound traffic, which has the same traffic pattern. So as I said, I'm going west in the fast lane of the local lanes, next to that grassy median. And I'm driving my same 77 Caddy. The only difference now is it's a year later. It's either 1990 or 91. And I know that because now I have a cell phone hardwired into my car, right on the front hump. If you remember the early days of cell phones in your car, people would wire them right to the hump of the car, and they had the hands-free mic right on top of your visor right up here. That was the best phone I ever had. Never dropped a call. Anyhow, I'm minding my business, doing about 60 miles an hour, and I'm looking at the traffic to my left. There were no cars in the express lane next to me heading my way, but there was one on the other side of the Jersey barrier, which is the eastbound side, keeping pace with me. I'm looking at the car and I say, how can that be? I said, this jerk is driving the wrong way. Sure enough, a 1988 Pontiac Sunbird is proceeding westbound in the fast-bound east lane, okay? And this one, unlike the other one, is totally cognizant of what they're doing because I can see this person is flashing their headlights nonstop at the oncoming cars, wanting them to yield to her. Okay? I said, this is unbelievable. She ain't gonna stop. So I punched in 911 on my hands-free, of course, both hands on the wheel, and they connect me to the state police, and I explain what's going on. There's some deranged person going the wrong way, traveling west in the eastbound lane. Okay? In the meantime, I'm relating to the dispatcher everything that's going on. So at that point, we were passing, what exit were we passing? We were pretty far, I'd say about exit 70. So we're heading from the bridge in the direction to where my previous incident was. We're at exit 70 now. So I told the dispatcher we just passed exit 70 and she's in the left lane and she's going to hit someone head on if you don't get some troopers out here. So they patched me through to the state police, New Jersey State Police, and I'm explaining what's going on. Okay, no problem. And every time we passed a mile marker, I would say, now we're passing mile marker maybe 6.8 or 6.6 or whatever it happened to be. Okay. As we get into around where it merges with Route 17, if you don't know the area, there's a small section where Route 80 and Route 17 are parallel to each other. So you've got the whole expanse of Route 80. Then on my right, you have northbound 17, 3 lanes. And on the far left is southbound 17, 3 lanes. In the exact spot, if you ever watched the TV show The Sopranos, they were in a club called Bada Bing. Side note here. When I was back in my younger days, back in the late 80s, that's the club my friends and I used to go out and hang out in. It was a rock club, but it wasn't called Bada Bing. It was called the Candy Bar. And I plan to do a video about that in the near future because I got some great stories from that. So I'm passing that area, and at that time, the woman in the Pontiac Sunbird swerves. I don't know if she hit the guy or not, but she bounces into the concrete divider and rips her front strut out. her right front strut. So the car is now disabled in the fast lane shoulder heading the wrong way. Okay? I pull up on the grassy median that I told you about, which is exactly straight across from where her car is wrecked. And I'm talking to the troopers. I said, all right, she's just wrecked her car. She's getting out of her car. And I can see this woman who had to have been between 250 and 300 pounds. And this is important. I'm not making fun of anybody. This is important as the story progresses. Stick with me. She gets out of the car and she's lugging these 2 suitcases, hefts them over the concrete divider, runs across the express lanes of Route 80 straight toward me. I said, she's coming straight toward my car. And the dispatcher can hear everything, or the state policeman. And she's banging on my window. Let me in! Let me into the car! I got on going the wrong way and nobody wants to stop. She was obviously on some kind of drugs, some kind of hallucinogen. When she saw I wasn't going to comply and help her out, this nut job, I don't know what she had. I don't know if she had a gun on her. She runs across with her suitcases, runs across the local lanes of Route 80, through a hole in the fence onto Route 17. At that very moment, a local cop runs up onto the scene by her car. So the local cop is heading eastbound express, sees the car disabled, has his lights on, and he gets out to investigate. But he can't hear the conversation I'm having because I'm talking to the state trooper. So I said to the statey, I said, listen, a local yokel just pulled up. I'm going to run over and tell him what's going on. So just send your guys here to exit, whatever it was, 6-5, let's say. And he said, all right. Ran over. I said to the cop, listen, the lady ran across the highway all the way over, and she's onto Route 17 now. I said, come on with me. I'll show you where she went. All right, he says, all right, let's be careful with all this traffic whizzing by. So we crossed the express lanes, past my car, crossed the local lanes, through some woods, onto 17. Now we're on the left lane of 17, looking for her, and I spot her a little bit north. I said, there she is, come on. We grab the woman, and she starts screaming at the cop, picks up a suitcase like it's freaking 2 pounds, whammo, hits him. He goes staggering back. All right? He tries to grab her, and she throws him like he's a 2-year-old kid, like a rag doll. He goes flying again. So I said, I don't know if he asked for my help or if I decided he needed my help, but the 2 of us grabbed her and we got her on the ground, and I'm saying to him, get the bracelets. Put the bracelets on her quickly while we can. So, all right, he hooks her up, but she won't get up now. Now this huge woman is laying on the ground screaming at the 2 of us, cursing like a sailor. So he gets on his cop radio that he's got up here, and he calls for backup from his local department. So way up the road, we see one of his co-workers, another cop with the lights on, going real slow looking for us. And the cop is explaining to him, continue going north, go about another 500 feet, you'll see where we are. All right, the cop pulls up. This was a younger cop that was driving the second car. He pulls up, and we open the back door. We push her in. All right? So now they're going to bring her around to where the accident scene is out on Route 80. Okay? So myself and this cop that I just helped out start to cross back. We get back over there, and now I think 2 more local police cars pulled up. Now here come the state troopers in 2 cars. 2 state police cars together pull up. All right, we're all out there. And the first thing the state troopers said, we don't want her. They did not want to arrest her. I don't know why. All right? So the local guy said, well, you know, this is Route 80. This is not our jurisdiction. We're out here to help out. And they said, well, what we'll do is we'll take it to Bergen Regional Medical Center, which is a psychiatric hospital over here in Paramus. And yeah, that's what they wound up doing. Taking this woman to Bergen Regional Medical Center. She had to be on some kind of drugs to be acting that way, driving the wrong way on the highway. I don't know if they ever charged her or not. The funny thing is, they never asked me anything. Neither the state police nor the local cops asked me my name, what I saw, who I was, nothing. You know, I don't know if any report was ever made. The first time, there was a DOA, so they had to. But the second time, I was kind of bummed out that they didn't want her for driving the wrong way on the interstate. But anyway, those are my two stories about people driving the wrong way on the interstates. Guys, I could sit here for hours and tell you more. I've seen so many, but those were the two most egregious. I would like your comments on my stories below. And if you guys have any similar stories you witnessed, I would love to hear yours. Please tell us in the comments below. I love reading your true life stories. I'm Crazy New York Driver, and you're not. Thank you for watching this video. I'll be back on Friday night with my Friday video. It'll still be cloudy. There is no sun predicted. Guys, go out there, have a good day, make a lot of money on eBay, rock on, and peace!